Welcome to Reptipod Podcast, where we discuss keeping styles, news, and uncommon species. Your hosts for Reptipod Podcast are Kyle from D20 Exotics
and Bryce from Prime Exotics,
bringing you awesome content about exotics. Thank you all for joining us on this podcast. We'll be bringing on guests based off the topics our listeners want to hear. We'll follow a semi-guided set of questions for all interviews, which we'll be asking each other shortly. So Bryce and I have a very varied collection. Essentially, I do a lot of galuboids, and he has a lot of things. So that kind of brings that dynamic of the podcast a little bit, where we have more focused projects versus more broad projects and more experience all around the board.
With that being said, Kyle, what species do you keep?
I keep a lot of galuboids, like I said. Anything from like corn snakes to Honduran milk snakes to African file snakes, African house snakes. I do have a false water cobra, a leopard gecko, and a Taiwanese beauty rat snake.
Man, that is a good collection.
Yeah, what about you? What all do you have?
My collection is pretty small at the moment and is definitely growing though. Some big projects for this year, but currently I have some Honduran milk snakes, I have ball pythons, I have a bearded dragon, and I have red-eyed tree frogs. And then I have some cultures of isopods, if you want to put that in there. But
yeah, I definitely did not mention my isopods either.
Yeah,
but, I think that's kind of part of the podcast too.
Definitely.
Maybe we'll bring on somebody in the future for isopods.
Well, we have pod in the name, isn't that what that's for? Isopod?
Well, not really, but it could be.
It could be anything we want.
Yeah, it's whatever your imagination entitles it to be.
So, how do you keep your false water cobra?
Currently, my false water cobra is going to be getting an upgrade here soon, but he's in a 4 foot by 2 foot by 2 foot viv. I do keep them a little bit differently. For the false water cobra, he's the only one that I have that's well, I guess not the only one. He's one of the few that I have that are on like cypress mulch bedding instead of going bioactive. Mostly just because if I put dirt in there, it's going to dirty that water bowl every 2 hours. Easy.
Yeah, how fun are they to care for?
They definitely take a lot of patience, especially socializing right off the bat. They will test you very much to see how much they can get away with. I remember when I first got him, and I would start handling him, he would kind of look at me, look at my finger, and just slowly move towards it and open his mouth, and just to see if I'd stop him. And then if I'd stop him, he'd be like, "Oh, okay, can't do that. We'll try again another 5 minutes."
Have you ever had him hood up or anything? I know they don't do it that often, but
mine actually does it quite a bit. But it's
really.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting because he'll hood up in my hands, but not even really taking an aggressive posture. So to me, it doesn't seem like he's doing it in an aggressive manner.
Yeah,
I've had him hood up and I've directly went in there and grabbed him, no problem. But yeah, he hoods up quite a bit for what he is, because he really doesn't bite very often at all.
Yeah, and I've heard they have a big diet. They can eat multiple things, not just rodents.
He actually very rarely gets rodents.
Oh, okay.
His main diet is going to be birds. So he gets quail and chick quite a bit. Occasionally he does get rodents, and occasionally he gets fish like tilapia.
Man, tilapia?
Yeah, he eats better than I do.
Yeah, literally. Oh my.
But yeah, I do like to do a lot of varied diets with most of my snakes. And my gecko. Yeah. I can't leave out my one gecko.
Yeah.
But yeah, actually, technically, I didn't even mention it. I do have a tortoise for right now.
Okay, what kind?
Temporarily living in my patio.
Nice.
He's an African sulcata, actually.
There you go.
But yeah, he's getting a new home here soon.
Is he a little one right now, or?
He's about a foot long.
Okay.
Just about, maybe a little bit bigger.
Okay, so he's still pretty small.
Yeah.
For a sulcata.
He's not massive yet, but you'll get there.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, he was a lost and found that got brought to me, and nobody could find the owners. So
Yeah. And in Arizona, aren't there a lot of sulcata tortoises that get rescued a lot?
yeah, so that's kind of a big thing with Arizona. Uh, the sulcata tortoises are everywhere. You'll find those more than you'll find the native species at this point.
Mm.
They get moved around all the time. A lot of people get them as babies and they keep them in their backyard, and then they get big and they burrow for winter and they burrow out of the yard and they're gone.
Yeah.
Or sometimes they just get too big and the feeding bill gets too much and the owners don't want them anymore and they just let them go.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, it happens quite a bit.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So you have the red-eyed tree frogs, right?
Yes.
How do you
So
keep those?
so right now I have them in a bioactive enclosure. All live plants. I have some isopods in there. They were all blue powder isopods, but there's white ones, like a lot now. There's like a whole culture of them. So I don't know if they got mixed up somehow at the beginning, but I got blue and white in there now. And
I had something similar with my powder blues.
yeah.
I got them. They were powder blues, and
Mm,
then I look in there and there's a bunch of oranges in there now. And I'm
yeah.
like, okay, well, that's just how it is.
Yeah. Yeah, another thing, they're really loud, or can be. Definitely during breeding season or mating season. The male is just constantly trying to get a female. Like you can hear him croaking over and over, and I love it though. And yeah, they're definitely a loud frog, or can
I've
be.
heard that we were considering getting one for a class pet. I just
Mm.
think it would be pretty disruptive for class during breeding
Well,
season.
the only thing is, he only does it at nighttime.
Oh,
I never hear him croaking during. I never even see him during the day. I see him sleeping, but I never see him till like 9, 10 ish.
interesting.
Uh, yeah, he's definitely fully nocturnal. So with that, I have to feed him at nighttime. You can just put crickets during the day, of course, but I would rather have them not go dig and stuff. So
Yeah, I mean that makes sense.
yeah.
So Bryce, you have a lot of different species. How do you keep all of them? Like, do you do racks or are they all bioactive?
That's a good question. I really like bioactive, and if I have to be fully honest, they are not all bioactive. I have my bearded dragon and the red-eyed tree frogs in bioactive. At the most part, the frog tank, like I said, is fully bioactive, and my bearded dragon is mainly bioactive. But there's not too much you can do for bioactive for bearded dragons without them killing the plants, or I mean, any isopods get baked usually. And so, at the most part, the substrate, I have a lot of fake plants in there. And for my Hondurans and my ball pythons, right now I keep them in a homemade snake rack. I call it a snake rack, but it's just a bunch of tubs that I have in a rack. And I keep them all on cocoa fiber mixed, not all of them, a couple mixed with cocoa fiber mixed with cork, I guess. And I do want to get them all their own enclosures eventually. They're all babies right now. And I do like the bioactive setups for everything, natural setups.
Yeah, they're not housed together though right now, right? They're
No,
all tubs. Yeah.
yeah, so they're all separate. I wouldn't trust any of them with each other. I
Yeah.
mean, probably nothing would happen, but I don't want to stress anything out. The
Yeah.
thing about the
Before too much.
Hondurans, I don't know if yours do it, but I never see them. I mean, they're
Yeah.
always just hiding.
Yeah. I mean, I keep my Hondurans in a similar setup. I do that like sterilite. Well, they're not. They're called easy storage or something.
Yeah,
Tubs, but they're like initially waterproof, and so obviously you got to drill holes and stuff.
yeah,
But at least that ensures for me that nothing's escaping unless I drill a hole that's too big. But I keep those all in there, and I do like a 4 to 6 inch layer of substrate. And they're all bioactive for the most part. But
that's awesome.
I very rarely see my Hondurans, especially at this age. They're still pretty young. I do have
Yeah,
one. He's still in quarantine though. Well, she is still in quarantine. She's pretty big. She's about a year and a half old. But I think she'll
yeah.
probably be out a lot more than the rest. once now they're at that age where they're big enough that they can feel more comfortable outside of the substrate.
Mm.
But
Yeah, and Hondurans, if I'm right, they are the third largest or in the top three largest milk snake species, right?
I think so. I think they're one of the top three.
Yeah,
They
they're
do get
definitely a
pretty
big
big.
snake.
I've
Yeah.
seen some like 6 foot. I've heard stories of some that were like 7 foot.
Mm.
So they can really get some size to them when they get old.
Yeah,
Like
and they start off so small and squirmy. So
oh yeah,
squirmy.
oh they're so squirmy. All of mine musk on me too when they're that young.
Really.
Oh yeah,
I've never had one musk on me, but they'll bite me. Not that much anymore, but when they were younger, they would bite me over and over every time I put my hand in there.
yeah. See, mine never really bit me, but they musk
Really?
on me every time, without
Wow.
a
Yeah.
doubt. Even if it was just like pick them up, move them to another tub, I was getting musked on like rapid fire. It was ready to go.
Wow. Yeah, no, I've never had any of them musk on me before.
But
Uh,
even the older ones are a lot better at it now. They don't musk on me as much or as
mm,
frequently. But I do keep most of my snakes in bioactive tubs, which is something kind of new and different
yeah.
for the hobby. Realistically, you know,
Mm-hmm.
you see the big bioactive enclosures, then you see the bare tubs. This is
Yeah.
more like in between. You know,
Mm-hmm.
they're definitely larger tubs, but they're bioactive. So I do the substrates they can burrow. I do some plants in there, and I throw some powder blues or whatever
Mm.
color that colony decides to produce for that day.
That
Um,
day.
right.
Yeah.
There's like purple ones in there now too. I don't even know.
Yeah. What do you keep your beauties in? Are they in the tubs as well?
The beauty is still in quarantine, and ultimately, I think
Mm.
he's going to be in quarantine for a long time. Um, I did get some bad news about him
Oh no.
that I probably should have expected. When I got him, I was told he was captive bred, and they
Okay.
gave me a name of the breeder. I said,
Mm.
fantastic, good enough for me. I went home. I went to go to contact that breeder. And I said, hey, I got one of your Taiwanese beauties from so and so.
Mm-hmm.
Is there any way I can get some like lineage or information on the parents and stuff like that? He goes, I haven't produced a Taiwanese beauty since 1997.
Oh my.
I said, yeah, this is like a fresh hatchling.
Yeah. Oh
So,
my. That
so
yeah, that sucks.
I hit up the person I got it from, and they basically ghosted me.
Oh
So
my.
I'm convinced that this was probably a wild caught import.
Yeah.
He's going to go to the vet and go get his parasite treatment and everything.
Yeah. Yeah, that sucks.
Yeah, which is unfortunate. Luckily, I have some experience now with dealing with wild caughts. It's
Mm-hmm.
not my favorite thing, and it kind of sucks.
Mm.
But it's not like I can ship them back to Taiwan right now and send them free.
Yeah. You said you keep file snakes, right? That's not really. I don't see that much in the hobby. How is
Yeah,
that?
I have one cross-eye file snake,
Mm.
and that's the only other one that I got that was wild caught. And
Okay.
at this point, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, right?
Oh my. Yeah.
So I was told he was captive, born and bred. He was most definitely not. He was riddled with parasites when I got him.
Oh wow.
Or if he was captive bred, that was pretty poor breeding. Um,
Yeah.
but everything tells me he was very much a wild caught import. So he got his parasite treatment. He did go off food for like not really like fully off food, but he was
Mm-hmm.
eating a piggy, which was far too small for him. That was all he would eat, like once a month
Wow.
for like 6 to 8 months.
That's
Uh,
terrible.
but then he finally like picked it back up, right back on food. Now he eats like quail and larger mice.
That's good then.
But yeah, he's definitely getting his weight back on and should be good. Unfortunately,
Yeah.
though, I have seen signs of a neurological issue with him, so he will
Uh.
not be a part of any breeding plans, um,
Uh.
which is unfortunate. But I think I'll probably end up going and trying to get a pair of the Cape file snakes
Mm.
and work with those instead.
Yeah. I don't see. Like, do you know how many people breed file snakes in the U.S.? Because I feel like I don't know anyone that
Probably less
breeds
than
them.
a dozen.
Wow.
There's probably more now.
Yeah.
When I got him, it was definitely few and far between. The only information I could really get was for one person, and that was the only person that made a video and talked about him really.
Mm. I'm
Um,
quite surprised as well. I mean, they're beautiful snakes, and I got to hold one at the last expo I went to, and the texture on them is crazy.
oh yeah, they're awesome.
Yeah.
Um, and ultimately, there's like the different subspecies and localities of them is really interesting too. So
Yeah.
that's definitely a species I want to dive deeper into in the future.
Mhm.
I don't really want to jump into it too quick though. I'd rather work on the projects that I have and get those established more.
Yeah. So, are you planning on breeding Hondurans then?
Yeah, I don't know if they'll go next season.
Mm.
Uh, I almost want to wait until the season after, so 2 seasons from now, before
Mm.
pairing them, just to make sure that the female's very much established and good to go. Um, and
Yeah.
potentially two females. I want to pair. I have a pearl that I got. Uh, so a pearl for Hunter and Milks is uh, albino anery hypo,
Mm.
which looks basically the same as a snow, which is just albino um, anery.
Yeah.
But it has the hypo in there as well, so it can produce, all three of those for offspring if you pair them with something else that has those.
Yeah. Hondurans can be beautiful. I think they're one of the most like beautiful snakes about all the different morphs. Or they're
Oh,
not there's not even that many different morphs. That's what
that's
makes it
what's
even better.
that's what's kind of beautiful about the Hondurans. That's what I really love with them is it's like a dozen morphs at most, and some of them are very minor morphs. Like, um, you're not really gonna focus on one morph, one of the more
Mhm.
minor ones. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's so much that's still it's nice because it's not like the ball python trade where it's like
Yeah.
5 million morphs and these five all look about the same, but there's one little tiny difference. If you're not looking for it, you won't notice it, kind of thing.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
Um,
like the beauty of Hondurans.
yeah, I mean, and every single Honduran morph is a pretty wide variety.
Yeah.
Is where they've dedicated almost like a full time job working with these crocodilians and getting them basically puppy dog tame.
Yeah. So Kyle, what species would you like to work with?
Ultimately, I'd like to work with the beauty rat snakes.
Mhm.
Um, Obviously, that little hiccup with the Taiwanese right off the bat isn't a great start. But
Yeah.
in the future, that's definitely a project. The false water cobras I want to work with a lot.
Mm.
And I did get my male as a pair, so the female is actually with a friend of mine. So
Mm.
eventually they might pair up.
That's
Um,
cool.
but then obviously I went over the file stakes. That's definitely a future project I want to get into.
Yeah.
But as of right now, I really just kind of want to focus on my current projects and get to where I'm going.
Yeah. That's pretty cool. One of the snakes. There's two main snakes I want to work with in the future. One being emerald tree boas, and the other being Thai bamboo rat snakes. One reason for the emerald tree boas is just growing up. I've always looked at that as such a big icon, and how aggressive they can be for some people. And then you see these other breeders that have them, fully tame and nice, And I just love to see how breeders, can work with a snake to get them that nice. And even false water cobras, like you were saying, I mean, they can be very aggressive, but with time and patience, you can get a false water cobra to be nice.
Oh yeah, I've been blessed to work with two very different false water cobras on
Mm.
opposite sides of the spectrum on that one. So you have one that's just like super hand tame, no herc needed, pull her out, you're good to go, throw her on your neck like a ball python.
Yeah.
And the other, if you go in that cage, he is going to try to rip your hand off. Like,
Mm.
there's definitely the two spectrums of that. And the big
Yeah.
thing I think a lot of people don't understand is you can't, like, there's some species that you can keep in racks. False water cobras are not one of them.
Yeah.
and the male that would try to like eat your hand off. He used to be super hand tame, then he got put in a rack for a while, and it just kind of flipped something on him, and he never went back.
Yeah.
That's definitely like to me. I love working with species that are viewed as more defensive than others,
Hmm.
and then get them to that point where they're like super tame and socialized.
Yeah. One thing I love about the hobby and like what you were saying is everyone that's not in the hobby, they always look at snakes to be, oh, you go near that, it's gonna bite you, or their snakes are aggressive, you can't have those as pets. And then you show them a ball python or something super simple that's like never aggressive. And I think that's like one of the best parts of this hobby, just educating other people,
Oh
and
yeah,
definitely one of the main things.
yeah. That's honestly one of my favorite parts of reptile keeping is just educating people
Yeah.
on on really the beauty of reptiles. Like there's no fear needed in them.
Hmm. Yeah, because it's not just snakes either. Crocodilians. I mean, that's an amazing example of like they can be these aggressive ones you see out in the wild, but then breeders, you see time and patience, they can easily get tamed down. At least American alligators. But
Oh yeah, yeah.
yeah,
I mean, you see it all the time on like the social medias where they've dedicated almost like a full-time job working with these crocodilians and getting them basically puppy dog tame.
yeah,
So Bryce, what is something that gets you excited about reptile keeping?
that is a good question. I talked about this already a little bit, or I guess we did. The education part of just educating others, showing kids just how amazing these creatures can be, and that they're not anything to be scared of. And I think that's just the beauty of this hobby. And also, just like everyone you meet within the hobby, all these breeders are so kind, educating you on more stuff. And because no one is perfect, I mean, all these breeders, you can be breeding ball pythons for 100 years, but 100 years ago, I mean, actually, probably not 100 years ago, 50 years ago, ball pythons were kept in 10 gallons, probably, and so I think, yeah, the main thing is educating, I could say.
Yeah, I definitely concur with the education. In fact, there's so many like negative things going on in the hobby right now that like
Yeah,
it makes it sound bad, like there's nothing to look forward to in the hobby. But realistically, these negative events just give us an opportunity to educate more people,
yeah,
to really show people like these are not animals to be afraid of. These are pets,
hmm,
just like your dog or your cat. They're they're pets, you know.
yeah,
And honestly, like one of my favorite parts of the hobby is going to expos and just talking to people
literally,
because like there's it's like any kind of Comic Con or like any other convention. You're bringing in all these people that all have the same interests, the same hobby, or they're people that are getting interested in this hobby and they're coming in.
hmm,
And you have such a wide spectrum of the people who have been doing this for like 20 years and the people who have decided that they wanted to get their first snake 2 days ago.
yeah,
And that's
yeah,
really the beauty of it.
yeah. Another thing is, you mentioned dogs and cats as pets. Worldwide, it's crazy how other things are kept. For example, I went to Cuba a couple years ago on a cruise, and dogs were treated like rodents, basically. And I mean, you would see dead dogs, you would just see wild dogs, and everyone that lives there, it's like you stay away from the dogs. You don't. Dogs are not pets. And then you go here, and I mean, everyone has a dog, so it's like crazy just to see how different it is in other parts of the world.
Oh yeah, I mean everything varies in different places. Like I've always heard like European keeping is very different than American keeping for reptiles, and
Hmm.
then like you go into like any of the like other countries, it's all different. But that's
Yeah,
what everybody's evolving with, like we're all learning more about how to keep these animals.
yeah. Is there any places that is on your bucket list to go herping? like parts of the world?
Oh yeah. I mean, obviously Costa Rica.
Yeah. Okay. Yep.
If that's not your number one place to go herping, I don't know what to tell you.
Yeah.
Australia is definitely on there, and
That's-
I'd liked Australia, Africa, and like the rainforest of South America is definitely up there. I don't know if I can order them in the top three. You know, obviously Costa Rica is number one,
Yeah.
and the other three are kind of just tied for second.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
Australia would be cool, but I don't know. I honestly might put Australia as three and then tie the other two for second.
Yeah. Yeah. There's some. Australia is definitely up there in my top three as well. Just in a few days, I'm actually going to Africa. We'll have an episode about that later on, but I am looking forward to herping there. Definitely something I've been doing, wanting to do my whole life, and crazy to see that everything's coming together for it.
I fully expect at least one picture a day of a herp while you're there.
Definitely.
So I can live vicariously through you.
Yeah, I'll take even the times I'm like almost 24 hours on the airplane. I'll take a picture of a herp there.
You better
On the
find it in a
airplane.
knoll or something in one of the airports. Like you're gonna have to figure it out. I don't know
Yeah,
what to tell you.
nulls are everywhere.
I mean, that's your duty. So
Oh my, yeah.
yeah, I would love to go to Africa sometime. That'd be really fun.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to it. We're going to 3 different countries. We're going to Cameroon, South Africa, and Kenya. So it's gonna be quite fun.
Go look for those Kenya red African house snakes while you're there.
Oh yeah,
They are
definitely.
beautiful.
Also the king cobras. That's in Kenya.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I think you can just pick those up. And
Oh, obviously. I mean, I might need a
fully
hook for the house. Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, you'll probably need a hook for the house snake, but the king cobra, you'll be fine. Trust me.
yeah. I don't know if I want to even get close to the house
I
snake.
expect you to be sending me a picture of you kissing king cobra. So
So wild king cobra. Yeah, I'll be able to do that.
Yep.
I'll hold a clutch of eggs, his eggs, with me kissing the king cobra. I'll make that my
that'll
goal.
be best. That way, you know, the king cobra believes that you're just helping him.
Oh yeah, definitely helping the match early.
Probably the safest way to do it.
Yeah, definitely.
But
Definitely
all fun
the
and
safest.
games. I do expect some pictures of herbs.
Yeah, hopefully if I find some good ones.
If you don't find any, I'm just gonna be disappointed in you. We might not have another episode of this. So, Bryce, where can our listeners find you?
You can follow me on Instagram at Prime Exotics with an X. The link will be in the description. I also have a Discord server that we go live on for the podcast, and you guys can come listen to us live if you guys would like. That will also be in the description. Where can we find you, Kyle?
So you can only find me on Instagram, really, or that Discord. You can find me on there as well. But Instagram, I am D20Exotics. The link will be in the description. And if you do come and listen to us live, be prepared. We take a while, and we definitely cut a lot of things out. But you'll get firsthand all the bloopers and stuff for later.
Yeah.
So thank you all for listening for our first episode of Reptipod Podcast. And stay tuned for the next episode where we talk about Bryce in Africa.
Have a great day.